always thought I understood how soul reapers worked. When they die, they reincarnate in the human world, right? At least, that's what the stories say. But after what I witnessed, I don't think that's the truth. Not the whole truth, anyway. It happened when I was still a low-ranking officer in the Gote 13. I was stationed in Rukongai, patrolling the outer districts, when I saw it. A soul reaper, dying for real. It wasn't the first time I had seen death. We fought hollows, we bled, we lost comrades. But something about this death was wrong. The soul reaper was an older man from Squad 11, someone I barely knew. He had taken a fatal wound protecting a group of villagers from a massive hollow. When I arrived, he was already collapsed, his Zanpakuto shattered beside him. I knelt beside him expecting the usual. His soul would dissolve, return to the cycle, and one day he'd be reborn as a human. But that's not what happened. His body twitched. His eyes widened, turning completely black, like the void itself had consumed them. His skin cracked. Along his veins, a deep red light pulsing beneath it. He opened his mouth to scream, but no sound came out, only shadows spilling from his lips like smoke. Then, the sky above us split open. It wasn't a Garganta. It wasn't the gates of hell. It was something else. A jagged wound in reality, pulsing and twisting like a living thing. And from within, I saw them. Figures, barely visible in the darkness, reaching out. Their limbs were elongated, unnatural, their faces distorted beyond recognition. But their eyes were exactly like his. They were waiting for him. He tried to resist, tried to fight it, but the moment his soul left his body, he was dragged in. His entire existence was pulled into the wound in the sky, his screams swallowed by the abyss. And then it closed, like nothing had ever happened. I ran back to the Seraitai, shaken beyond belief. Someone had to know about this, right? Captains, lieutenants, someone. But when I reported what I had seen, my superior simply stared at me. Then he said something I'll never forget. "You will never speak of this again." I protested, demanded answers, but he didn't say another word. He just looked at me, and I understood. This wasn't a mystery. It was a secret. A truth buried so deeply that even mentioning it was forbidden. I started digging in places I shouldn't have. Old records, ancient texts, whispers from the oldest soul reapers in the Gote 13, and I found something. A single, chilling phrase in a forgotten manuscript. Some souls do not return to the cycle. They are taken. Taken, but by who or what? The more I searched, the more I realized that I wasn't the first to ask, and every soul reaper who had ever gotten close to the truth had disappeared. There was something else, though, something far worse than I imagined. I found records of missing soul reapers, not those who had died in battle, not those who had been executed, but those who had simply vanished. No graves, no last words, no Zanpakuto left behind. One name stood out, a former captain from over 1,000 years ago. He had written a passage in an old tattered journal before his disappearance. The black-eyed ones came for me. If you're reading this, you're already marked. That was the last page. The journal ended there. No one remembered him. It was as if he had never existed. After that, I felt something watching me. At first, it was subtle, a shadow at the edge of my vision, a whisper in the wind, my reflection in the mirror lagging behind by a fraction of a second. Then, the dream started. I dreamed of the wound in the sky, I dreamed of the black-eyed figures reaching out, and sometimes I dreamed that one of them had my face. I stopped digging after that, but it didn't stop following me. I don't know what happens when a soul reaper truly dies, not anymore. But I do know this. We were wrong about the cycle, about reincarnation, about peace after death. Some souls move on, but some of us never leave. I wish I could say I walked away from all of this, that I stopped looking, stopped questioning. But the whispers only grew louder. I heard them in the barracks. I saw them in the eyes of my comrades when they stared too long at the sky. One night, I woke up to a sound, a deep, rattling breath at the foot of my bed. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, but I could see them, standing over me, watching, waiting. Then, one of them leaned down and whispered something in my ear. A single word I still don't a single word I still don't understand. Soon, I'm leaving this record behind in case I disappear too. If you find it, if you're reading this, don't ask questions, don't look for answers, and whatever you do, don't die.